There we go. Hello, Werner. Very nice to meet you.
Hi, how you
Can you
doing?
hear me? Good.
Yes.
I appreciate you spending some time with us today. And I've told people a bit about you that you trained institutional traders, and you have a course that's very demanding. I see a lot of people believe that you could just, take a seminar, webinar, and in 2 months be able to trade. And I noticed that you have an 18-month program, and that's rigorous. It's almost like going to a university to learn how to be a trader, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I completely disagree with the whole you can learn how to trade Forex just online, even on 3-day courses or seminars or webinars. It takes time. I mean, I get people profitable maybe in 3 months, but it takes time.
Okay, so I'm always interested in the beginning phases of a journey of a trader, because that's the most treacherous time, and you're now paying it forward by teaching people. How was it for you at the beginning, Werner? How did you get involved in the industry, and what mistakes did you make along the way, and did you find mentors? What was the beginning of your journey like, and who do you blame for you getting into this industry?
Well, I actually started early in high school. I was always interested in the market, watching movies like, trading movies like The Boiler Room and the old Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. And um, then I started
Did you ever
teaching my.
work in a boiler room? Did you ever work in a boiler room?
No, I never did.
Oh, you're fortunate to not have had that experience. Okay, go ahead.
Um, so yes, so I started teaching myself and reading a lot of books. Um, I read recently. I read the Fun Top Super Traders and also the Alexander Alder's new book. And I read similar books back in the day. And I actually started trading on commodities and indices, and then I started on Forex because I made a lot more return. And
Okay,
my first account I blew, obviously, um,
okay.
but I knew
Been
where I
there.
went wrong. It was emotional trading. That's a big
How
thing.
about too much leverage? How about too much leverage?
Um, Not really. My risk was fine. It's just emotions and the psychology behind trading that that completely messed with me. But after about 2 years, I started trading like a robot, basically, where my emotions, I completely locked out emotions with trading, and also I started screen watching a lot less. The less time I spent on my screen, the more profit I actually made. And then on my first account
So is
after
that how you
that.
overcame? Is that how you overcame your emotions? I want to have a two-way conversation here. So, is that how you overcame your emotions? Because I know sometimes I'm better off walking away from my screen because, or if I'm going to manage a trade, to go to a longer time frame, because if you're looking at shorter time frames, you're going to see things that are going to make you want to take off your position. So is that how you overcame your emotional issues?
Exactly. Just stepping away, taking a step back. And the biggest thing was actually self-confidence. Um, when I did the analysis and I know it's a good trade and I entered it, I just have to step away from the trade, because then you start, if you keep looking at the trade, you keep seeing things that influences your decision. But what about if this happens? What about if that happens? And you know your analysis is good, so stick with the position you entered. There's a reason why you entered it.
Right. Right. So challenge the market to prove you wrong. Have the
Yeah.
attitude like a samurai. Okay, Mr. Market, I've done my work. I challenge you to prove me wrong and take out my stop. That
Yeah,
attitude. You have to
exactly.
be a warrior then. If you have any fear, and you have fear and doubt and you're trading, you're right. Emotionally, you're going to be afraid of missing things. and when you're in a trade, you're going to begin to doubt your analysis.
That's 100%. And also a big problem, which I see in the beginning with a lot of traders, and I saw in the beginning with me as well, is not doing proper stop loss analysis. I mean, your stop loss is, for me, the most important part of a trade, and you have to place your stop loss so defensive so you know market is going to have a hard time reaching it. The less you lose, obviously, the more you win.
What's your average stop loss that you teach people, or is there even such a thing, and it depends upon the instrument?
No, there is no average stop loss. You have to do analysis on where is the best stop loss. Either it can be 100 pips away or it can be 300 pips away. It just depends on where the best place to put it. I mean, I always try and put it at a place where if my stop loss gets hit, then I know that trade was no longer valid and the whole trend of the market had to change for my stop loss to be hit.
Okay, so definitely no money stops, market stops. Let me ask you this. This happens to a lot of people, and I think it's because their stop loss placement is too tight. And I say, if you can't be wrong for a day, how can you be right for a week? Do you ever experience, it sounds like you've mastered that, but a lot of people have a problem, and you're talking about it right there, of being right the market, wrong the trade because of stop loss placement.
Yes, and I see it a lot. I recently trained actually a banker. He works at a very big investment firm, and that was one of their traders from the institution's biggest problem, is that they were risking too little pips wise in stop losses, and then because they just went on, I want to risk 1%, let me put my stop loss here, but they never did.
They're trading money, not markets.
Yeah, they're trading money, and that is the big problem. But for example, 2 months ago, I entered a position on crude oil, and for 3 weeks, my trade went in profit, out of profit, in profit, out of profit, and a lot of people, I showed the trade, and they were like, "But I would never be able to stay in for that long." And I'm like, "No, if you did the analysis, you know that trade is good. You have to leave it, even though it stays between your entry and your stop loss for 3 weeks, and until it hits your stop, your trade is still good." And I ended up making 1,200 pips on that when it dropped down all the way from $62 down to 51.
Okay, that's a great example. So, you know, they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. I'm getting an echo here. Do you know how to share your screen, and perhaps we could take a look at your setup, and perhaps you could talk to us about what you teach and what you might be seeing here in the markets. A screen share is up on the left-hand corner. It's in a green box with an arrow, and you click that, and then it'll give you different screens to share if you want to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Continue. But I do believe that, there you go. I'm seeing my charts right now. Can everyone see? Maybe it's Mauricio that's just to make the change. Showing the yen, which I think made a nice graveyard save today. So, waiting for charts. There you go. I saw them for a second, and then they popped up. There we go. Okay. So here we are. We're looking at Euro USD. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what your red lines, what they represent, and
okay. So
what kind of methodology.
I don't really use any oscillators or conventional indicators. I just actually added that support and resistance now because I thought it would be a bit easier to explain. But basically what I use is just price action. So it's just the waves of the market, Fibonacci, candle info, previous support and resistance is a big thing. Now, So what I do is when I do my analysis, I always go and place myself these green blocks, which you can see, which I call my buy zones and my sell zones. And I do that purely looking at previous support and resistance levels, where the market has stopped before, Fibonacci levels, and things like that. If you can, let's just look at the pound US dollar chart.
Yeah.
So I also have a date on there, so I know which date when I actually did the analysis. If you take my previous trade here, so you can see I had this green buy block. So
Right.
as soon as market enters my green buy block where I did analysis on, I know that's my time to buy. And then I also go and do analysis on where I place my take profit over here, which I came out. And now you can see I have a new sell zone. So now I know if market comes back up here, that is where my next sell trade will be.
Okay. And it's based on your sell zones, buy zones are based on pivots and fibs.
Yeah, basically majority previous support and resistance,
Okay.
and Fibonacci, but it's all I do it all myself. So yeah, I had a big sell.
What time frames do you focus on, and do you teach people to swing, position, trade, scalp? Do you do all three, or I know Jack Schwager, who wrote Market Wizards, says one of the most important things for a trader to find out is what trading style, and to me that would also be time frames that suit their personality. So what suits your personality, Werner?
I do train in scalping and intraday trading. It's not my favorite. I do more swing trading, long-term trading, where I use daily, weekly, and 4-hour charts for analysis. So, like this chart we're on now, the Australian dollar, US dollar is a 4-hour trade, but the analysis was done on a daily chart. So you can see where all my previous sells were. So it's all, I stay in the trades for quite some time. I mean, this Australian US
So
trade
you're
is
still short. You're still short odds, even though we're starting to pop here a little bit.
Yes, it was just going to be a retrace, I rate, and then I'm still going to stay in until we break this low. So it's all similar. It's here you can see, even though the market has retraced back up, I will not close my position even with the sell here. I will let it run down to my take profit, which I think is down here somewhere.
Okay,
So you just be patient. I don't exit trades just because of a retrace. You just stay in.
Okay. And do you teach people to trade maybe a couple of lots so that you could take partial profits, and do you trail your stop loss when you're in a lead, or you just leave it in the same place?
Oh, well, you trade every time frame individually. So let's say you're in a daily sell trade, but you see a great buy on a 1 hour. You trade the 1 hour buy, even though you are still in your daily sell. So you try and make profit out of every way if the market makes.
Okay, interesting. So you need an FX broker that's going to let you be simultaneously long and short.
Yes, we don't have the problem with the FIFO. So
Okay.
it's a bit.
I think some you can't do that with. Is that correct?
Yes, you can't.
Okay. So interesting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the course, and how people would get involved with you on the course, or perhaps some market projections. The big story right now is, do you trade stock indexes, Werner?
Well, since I started with doing courses and working at Forex Varsity, since the company started, I haven't traded stocks all that much. Just in the beginning of the year, I bought a couple of Swiss stocks, actually. I bought Syngenta Roche and Credit Suisse, all after the unpegging of the franc, and I made I think it was about 100, just under 100% return in a couple of months. But since then, I haven't opened one stock position.
Okay, so if I'm reading you correctly, on your daily trade in gold, you got short above 1160, you wrote it down to 1100, and you're still short.
Still short.
Okay. See, a lot of people would have a lot of difficulty not taking $70 out of the market and then watching it rally 50 more. What's your target? If you held it, you must be looking, because it never got to your buy zone. That's why you stayed with it for this rally.
Yes, but I obviously traded on a 1 hour chart. I did enter a buy. So that's the thing, because I trade every time frame individually. I did make money off the retrace up now, because I was trading that on a smaller time frame. So the daily buys, the daily sell is going to be held until it either gets back into my buy zone at the bottom or hits my stop loss, but I will still continue trading the 1 hour chart and 4 hour chart, however it tells me. So on 1 hour chart, I bought 2 days ago and made profit.
Okay, so that's an interesting twist. You're one of the first people I've interviewed that do that. So that you could have a position trade on, a swing trade on, and if you go to your shorter term time frames, you could trade counter to both of those positions, and therefore you're really not giving back everything. You're trading different swings depending upon time frame. That's a very interesting approach. I've never heard anyone do that before. It's probably because of the restrictions most people have with their FX broker to be able to do it.
Yes, I know. I know in the US it's a big problem, but in Europe and basically the rest of the world, we don't have that strict laws. And for us, being short and long at the same time is fine. If I was not allowed to do that, I probably would have a completely different way of trading. But the people we train and the way we trade, this is what I've done many years of back testing on, and which is the best way to do it.
And the course and your training, does it happen in person where people come to a physical location, or do you do it online?
No, it is actually nothing is online. It is all done physically in person. We start off with a 3-day intense course, where you get taught everything about the market, how it works, about leverage, margin, lot sizes, all the basics. And then we have 3 classes a week for 18 months.
Okay. All right. So they have to be hardworking people. You know, I think the success, or at least the popularity of signal services, are people just not either having the time or just not willing to put in the time. You know, I say you can't learn experience. It only happens with the passing of time. In our business, screen time. So people come to your physical location. What country again?
We are based in, we actually based in the UK, South Africa, and Nigeria.
Wow, okay. So Nigeria, I see a lot of traders on Twitter from Nigeria. Kind of an oil-based economy. Is there growth in that area for you to have a place in Nigeria?
Yes. The thing is, there's a lot of disposable income. People's got money there. It's the fastest growing economy in Africa, and the thing is, there's no such thing as credits, so you can't go to the bank and ask for a loan. Everyone has disposable income, so a lot of people have a lot of money to trade with and get some interest on it, on their capital.
Okay. And as far as has your website. If you'd like to show it, this would be a good time. I know your Twitter handle is @thebanktrader. So
Yeah.
people, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's expensive, isn't it? What's it take? What's tuition on your course?
It's actually not that expensive. It works out to probably about 1,700 US
For 18 months of training?
for 18 months.
Yeah, you're right. It isn't for that kind of amount of trading. Also, in your bio, you told me that only 15% of your company's revenue is generated from training people. The other 85% is generated from profits in the market. So you want to tell us a little bit about your
Uh,
performance, etc. I'm gonna hype you today, Werner. So take advantage of it.
no. Yes, that is actually correct. That is why we charge so little for the course, because our profits are generated through trading. Because every good trader we train, we take on for ourselves, and he
Okay,
becomes
so
a trader
after
for us.
after people take your course, you set them up like a prop trader and give them equity to trade, and they get a percentage of profits.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what we do. So we've had some bad experiences where people, as we've given students a whole bunch of capital, and they go and blow most of it over 6 months, and so we've had some bad experiences. But we always try and screen and see how well they do over 6 months to a year, and then we offer them so like a prop trading position where we give them some capital. But we have very close relationships with banks and brokers, so we also do get rebates on the trades. So that is where
So it's like you have an IB or something like that.
yes, we have an IB. So our prop traders trade on their own accounts. It's just with
Right.
company money. And yeah,
How do
I
you
mean,
how do you screen people after they take your course? You give them any kind of psychological tests to
uh,
see whether or not they're emotionally stable in a business that could create emotional instability.
yes, we do. I
How
actually
about drug tests?
no, we haven't done that one yet. But
Okay, you probably need to do that if you set up a shop in Amsterdam, huh? And now in the U.S. So, it seems like you have all bases covered, and someone that wants to be a prop trader, this could be a way for them to go. And you get to meet all the people instead of them being just an internet relationship. You get to meet the people, press the flesh, and I can usually tell after someone talks to me for about 20 minutes whether or not they're going to blow up or not. So you probably have that same type of experience and intuitive skill. Am I correct?
yes, yes, no, I know it. I also tend to spend a lot more time with people I know will make it, which is probably wrong because I need to give everyone the same amount of attention. But it's just sometimes just someone walks in and I know from the get-go this guy's going to make it, and I tend to give them a lot of attention. And the last one was 3 months ago. He started with his first company account as a prop trader,
Okay.
and yeah, it's not doing too bad because we don't have strict rules on how to trade. I know most prop positions you can't leave trades open for longer than 24 hours, and you need to have a set return on investment, and so we kind of give them a lot of leeway, but we also monitor their accounts. So I look at exactly what trades they take and why they took them, and if I see it's going downhill, then we always just say we have to review.
Okay, Werner. Well, what's your most precious currency?
Um, I trade mostly the euro and the pound and the US dollar.
Okay.
That's the three I trade the most.
All right, now my most precious currency is time, because pips come and go and time is gone forever, but you're still young. You
Yeah.
might see it that way later. So I want to thank you for spending some of your precious currency with us today and talking to us about your course. And very interesting. I guarantee you there's going to be people searching for FX brokers so that they could hold long-term positions and trade against them with shorter time frames. I think that's a real edge. And I want to thank you, Werner. It's a pleasure meeting you, and wish you a great fall trading season. May pips rain down on you and your mentees.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for taking your time with me as well and letting me tell my story.
Glad to know you, Werner.
Thanks. You too.
All right, good hunting, buddy.
Okay.
Well,
Cheers.
Werner Riekert at the Bank Trader. It has a very intense course, and it could lead to becoming a prop trader. Check him out.